Graduate School Spotlight podcast features various academic programs that offer an advanced degree here at Albany State University. On today's program, the shine, so to speak, is on the School of Education. Joining me today is the Interim Director of Field and Clinical Experience in the School of Education and Assistant Professor for Tier 1 Ed Leadership, Dr. Carolyn Metlock. Dr. Metlock, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
As I stated in the opening of the show, each week this program will feature a graduate program offered here at Albany State. And let me give a little context about your particular academic program, meaning education. The School of Education is the only program on campus that offers as high as the specialist degree. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And can you kind of tell us what that means, the specialist degree?
Let me say we start with the bachelor's, then we go with the master's, then we go with the specialist, then we go with the doctorate. The specialist degree is, if you will, it is the degree that is right before the doctorate degree.
If you are pursuing an advanced degree at the doctorate level, pretty much in most programs, but definitely in the education program, the specialist degree is before you enter into the doctorate program or your ABD.
Absolutely. And with that degree, some schools even will take some of your credits from your specialist degree, so you would be maybe a credit or two in.
So I wanted to, let the listeners know in terms of the education program here at Albany State, they are just basically one step away from offering the education doctorate degree, correct? Not the philosophy.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. What I wanted to maybe talk about a little bit, the Master's in Ed Leadership is the graduate degree program offered here at Albany State, correct?
Yes.
And also just the Master's in Special Ed or the Master's in
Middle grades
mm-hmm. as well. All right.
Education.
What are some of the trends or some that you have noticed in your title is Interim Director of Field and Clinical Experience. So you're actually working with undergraduate students in the teaching portion of their degree requirements, correct?
Yes.
All right. So what kind of trends have you noticed or changes in graduate education? What programs in education tend to have the highest enrollment?
I would have to say Masters in Education, all the programs have a high enrollment, and we are trending toward leadership as well, going up.
Okay. Masters in Ed Leadership.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of positions would they occupy?
Many students or applicants or future students, they are considering a leadership role, such as an assistant principal, such as some schools require an instructional coach to have a leadership. Some will require a curriculum director. It's just different areas in leadership as it relates to a leadership position in the district that the said district will require. But principalship, central office, superintendent, absolutely, superintendent, assistant superintendent, on and on. Deputy, some districts say deputy.
Also, in the field of higher ed in general, a lot of administrative positions are occupied by individuals with EDDs, Doctorates of Education, as opposed to Philosophy of Education. Would you say
yes,
that's true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so why is that, in a sense, as far as if you wanted to work in higher ed as an administrator? How does the EDD or the Doctorate in Ed Leadership, I guess for obvious reasons, the program itself teaches you how to be a leader in education?
Yeah, absolutely. And with the philosophy, I think you do a little more research and all, but you still do research in ed leadership. But as it relates to ed leadership, education leadership as a doctorate, you're preparing for education leader.
How will, for our undergraduate students, those are listening that are interested in pursuing a graduate degree, how does that equate to a better job or higher salary or job promotion?
Number one thing that it will equate to, you increase your knowledge base. So you will have a little bit greater depth of knowledge in whatever area you're pursuing. Example, if you are pursuing in leadership, you will have a greater depth of knowledge other than the general information about leadership. So, and you also equip yourself to be ready to apply for a job if one comes available and posted. you'll be qualified for that.
That leadership really kind of speaks to systems and institutions and people and how they work together, to provide a service to those students, whether they be K through 12 or even college.
Right. At leadership, that's exactly you, or it's not a position when you obtain a leadership position is to be over, but you are promoted to serve at a greater level. That's the way I see a leader, that you must serve.
Now, discuss careers that require an advanced degree that you've seen in education, that the industry and career choices now sort of almost demand an advanced degree in the field of education.
Any job that requires leadership positions, leadership roles, leadership duties usually require an advanced degree. Sometimes there is a waiver that districts will hire and allow you to work in a leadership position without a degree. But I'm partial. I must admit, I'm partial. I think you need the degree, because degree, you equipping your knowledge. You are at a better position knowledge-wise to serve and help those that you are leading.
Very good. In talking about the degree versus the non-degree, as an undergraduate student prepares to attend graduate school, what advice would you give a student? Should they wait a year after graduation before attending? What's the best advice you would give an undergraduate? And then we'll lead into testing. Okay.
It's not an absolute,
Mm-hmm.
but if the student is pretty disciplined, if the student is a great manager of time, their personal time, because you will have to make time and sacrifice with time in juggling your schedule. So if the student has all those things in place, why not pursue a degree? Why not? Set that as a goal and go ahead and do it. Now, if you are pursuing a degree in leadership, that won't be immediate, because you usually would take about 3 years in the classroom experience before you pursue a degree in leadership. But as a graduate, undergraduate student ready to go to graduate school, I say keep it going.
Okay. Keep it going. Keep it going. Why stop? Now, talk about admissions and the most common graduate school standardized test. Now, I know in education, there's one in particular that is significant. If you could talk about that. Yes.
Yeah. In education, we have the GACE.
Yes.
That's important for certification. You must pass the GACE. And that is the reason earlier I made a statement why I'm partial toward the degree is because when you go to school and pick up those extra credits and those studies, then you increase your knowledge base, versus if you're in a role that doesn't require a degree or certification, your knowledge base is not as deep.
What are your thoughts about, this comes to mind, I was at a career fair the other week, and there was a business set up there that was hiring teachers. One of the comments that the recruiter made is, you don't have to pass the GACE. You don't have to take the GACE. We're more focused on experience. If you have years of experience in a particular field, that qualifies you. What are your thoughts about that? Because I think that, I don't have the statistics in front of me, becoming a little bit more popular now with schools K through 12 waiving that or not requiring teachers passed or even taken the GACE.
It is a trend, and I believe the trend is going to grow. And the reason that I believe it's going to grow is because there's a shortage of educators to fill the classrooms, as well as to fill the positions as relates to leadership roles within the schools. So there's a trend is to waive it, and we can get you in, you have some experience, and we can work with you. Several years ago, well, even now, the Broad Academy, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Broad Academy, I'm talking like I'm still in that role. I serve as school superintendent.
Okay.
And the Broad Academy is sought out for the invitation only to go through their leadership program. And their recruits are non-traditional leaders from the Army, from the banks, from renowned leaders around time. They take them through this program. It's very, very, very intense. And when it's all over, they usually get a job in a district, usually a large urban district, and serve as school superintendent. Now, for those of us that did not go that route, we were traditional,
Yes.
so we're a little partial, and sometimes we would frown on that. But I must say, I've met many, and they are very successful leaders, very successful leaders. So I see the trend going there in education. I see that as it relates to classroom, but it's nothing. You cannot minimize the importance of formal knowledge. You just cannot.
Yes.
It equips you.
Right. And so the GACE just makes sure.
Oh, it ensures that you have that
ensures.
knowledge base to fulfill the job requirements.
And when you also say in certain school districts, the GACE does come with a little bit more of a salary increase by the school district. If you do not have the GACE, they don't have to offer you a certain amount.
I think that's true in some districts, but in order to get certification, especially I can speak of Georgia because I know Georgia, you must pass the GACE. And I think other states as well, you have to pass some type of test for certification. And yes, it will increase the salary.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know
Really
for those
increase the
that are thinking that I can take my 15 years of experience and go into the school system, that the GACE, it's a stamp of approval that you have amassed and that you have learned certain key skills to teach in the classroom, and K through 12, that's our future. And so it is to be handled in a certain way professionally, and where the students can come out very well rounded in terms of their K through 12 experience. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me here today on Graduate School Spotlight, and our focus again is on the School of Education here at Albany State University. And of course, before we go, I always want to ask, is there anything you'd like to include? And then after that, we'll give everyone the information on who to contact, where to go, if you are interested in pursuing a graduate advanced degree here at Albany State University. Is there anything that I didn't touch on that you like? I touched on everything.
You touched on everything.
So if you tell us the graduate school office, contact names, phone number, email address.
Okay. Ms. Weeds, before I say that, I do want to encourage all that's thinking about, they're on the fence about graduate school, and I want to encourage those that have the 3 years or greater. They're in some leadership role within their school, grade chair, they're working on a leadership team, they are called upon to be over things, and your school administration consider you a leader because they have put you on the leadership team. I would love to encourage you to come on, submit an application, get your certification, get your master's, and keep it rolling with your specialist in ed leadership. So if there's a program that you need to consider, now can I just be a little selfish?
Yes, absolutely.
The only program that you should consider is educational leadership.
And there's a need for leaders in education.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. But if you need some information, I want to give you this email address and the contact person and the location.
Okay.
The executive director is Dr. Charles Ochie. It's O-C-H-I-E. And he would love for you to contact him at graduateadmissions@asurams.edu. He is located in Billy C. Bay Building, room 292. If you wish to call him, his number is 229-500-2022. Dr. Charles Ochie. He would love to talk with you about School of Education, education leadership specifically.
Yes, and I think what an appropriate phone number. This is your year, 2022, and that's his phone number to reach out to him.
Oh, absolutely.
229-500-2022. And if I'm not mistaken, after speaking with Dr. Ochie, students can apply up until the end of the school year, which ends in December. So go ahead and go online or send your email to graduateadmissions with an S, GRADUATEADMISSIONS @ASURams.edu. rams.edu. And again, I want to thank you so much, Dr. Metlock, for coming on the show and sharing the spotlight on the Masters in Ed Leadership and just the Masters in a Specialist Degree program at Albany State in the School of Education.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, take care. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in every Tuesday at 6 on 92.7 WASU FM. Tune in Graduate School Spotlight, where we will feature a graduate program here at Albany State University. Once again, I'm Connie Williams. Thank you for listening.